Welcome to another episode of Basic Survival and Best Way to Survive in Minecraft. Now, in our last episode, we talked about charcoal, and we mainly just talked about how to make it, and I showed you how to make it. Not much of talked about it. Well, today I'm going to give you tips on basically just little bit of tips, tricks, and advice on not only biomes and resources, but mobs as well. And, just to help you out throughout your days. So let's get into it. Let's do this. Now, keep in mind there are lots of different mobs out there, and there are quite a bit of different biomes. You could be entering a forest biome with less trees. You could be entering a jungle biome with no animals. You can be entering a valley biome with hardly anything. You could be entering a desert biome knowing that you're going to have to go far and wide for trees. So it's always good to keep mapping out your biomes. Mapping out is the key thing. I'd say I call it key. I call it key. I wouldn't know what anyone else would call it, but me, key to survival. I call that key. Now, doesn't mean it's always key. It really doesn't. But the reason I call it key is because if I'm gonna be entering another biome, I'm gonna want to know my surroundings. I'm gonna know where the nearest resource is at. I'm gonna know where I can find and kill some animals. I'm gonna know how to get some wood and how far I have to go. And those are all just basically simple questions that are waiting to be answered. So let's get into it. So, question number one that probably would come to any beginner's mind is, what do I do? Okay, well, that's a very basic question. And lots of things can be done. A lot of Minecrafters would be like, expand your imagination and survival. Just survive. Or, others would say, take your time and kind of pace her out a little bit and just survive, gather resources. And then most people would say, just bring everything from creative into survival. So it's kind of like, no, just don't do that. What you should do is, like I said, grab dirt. And it's getting dark. This isn't, So, as you see, I kind of went far from my shelter, and I don't want to be stranded. Now, but like I said, what you should do is grab dirt. Very, very common, and I know I mentioned this, so no one can say I didn't mention it. But dirt is incredibly common, and it's infinite, and you can just build. You just have a greater chance of surviving and saving time of gathering all these resources instead of specific resources that are also required to make specific stuff and craft. So, always do that. And dirt, you can't really make dirt into anything. Like wood, you gotta make a bed, you gotta make some tools, or you gotta make, I don't know, a boat. As for dirt, it's nothing. And you can simply just, you don't even have to craft, you don't need to craft with it. You could just make a platform with it, and you're like, oh, hey, I'm already done. And I saved so many resources. That is what is the key thing, is conserving. So that's the number one thing I would say to do. Also, don't do this right away, but map out your area. Take your time. Don't rush it, because you don't know what biome you're entering. And like I said, there are biomes in Minecraft where you can just be stranded completely with no food, no source of food, no source of wood, nothing. So that's kind of like an need to know thing. Well, oh, look at you. So that's like a need to know thing. And it's just, question, that's what you just gotta know. So different biomes, keep map, and just keep track. Like such as mountain biomes will have a lot of rich coal, good if you want, in lots of coal, infinite amount of coal. Wouldn't say infinite because it's always limited. Or forest, always good substitute for charcoal. And or like I don't know, maybe you're the type of guy that's like, I want more of a challenge, such a big challenge that it'll just be ridiculous, and there's no way any noob can survive this. You would want desert, like straight up. You just want desert, and that's the thing. If you want that, okay, but desert has no source of food, no source of water. It has practically nothing, no source of wood. And so, you don't if you want to enter that biome, go on ahead if you want the challenge, but suggestively, if you're not a hardcore gamer and you're like, like you're like, I'm just gonna, stick with the basics, then go with forest or valley. Pretty simple. Mainly forest. But it's pretty simple, pretty basic, pretty good. Next question any beginner would ask or any smart beginner would ask, how far would I have to go to get what? And that's always a kind of question I always kind of ask myself when I play this game. Every time I hop on, I'm like, how far will I have to go to get some wood? Because that's a need to know thing, and that's just would be great to figure out. Well, here's the thing. Depending on your biome, okay, is depending on your resources. So you could have a mountain biome, not many trees. You can have forest biome, quite a bit of trees, but not many animals. Or you can simply just have a desert biome with nothing, and you have to go far and wide for wood. All biomes are different. All biomes have their advantages, disadvantages, and along with homes, advantages, disadvantages. So now that we kind of got that part out of the way, that was a nice, good, big chunk of the video, by the way. Didn't expect it. Oh, hello. One other things. We all kind of know what mobs we're facing. Creepers, skeletons, zombies, the commons in this world. Kind of a little bit in the nether. What other things can... So, again, what other things can I do to ensure my survival and I don't get killed right off the bat? Well, for one, on instances, I just see it on my coordinates because I kind of want to create a challenge, but I would say in this instance, nice. Just, keep track of your biomes, well, what other questions that can be asked, that most common gamers don't ask, that only noobs or first beginning player kids would ask. Crafting. Okay, there we go. Crafting. So if I go over here, I'll show you some of the recipes for this. So I got like a crossbow. That's the recipe, the full recipe. As for like another crafting table, like a cartography table, we could probably get. That's to make maps. That is used to make maps. So if you're, wanting another map because you lost your map, that would be the great way to go. Soul torch. This is required soul sand and coal. We didn't go to the nether. Very good to warn off piglins. Gosh, I can't talk today. They are afraid of that, I guess, and it's a little trick. We got the cobblestone. We just need the blaze rod. The brewing sand, the common brewing sand. And, there's just really kind of not much to it, And it's just all basic survival. Now, underground, above ground, or underground. That is something I can argue with day and night. Trust me, I can argue with you all the way. Because the reason I say above ground is because I can see my vision. I can see my view. I can see what's around me. Can you do that underground? No. You can only hear sounds and hope to God you don't run into a cave and get killed in the mist. And when you're coming up from underground, you don't know what's going to be hiding in a corner. Okay? You won't know. You don't know if a skeleton's going to come around the corner or creepers coming around the corner. So, always be aware. I say above ground in the trees because it is just a lot less worrisome, and I know well that I'm going to survive the longest than I would underground because I'm not an underground person and I don't have to worry about light as much. I hope this video actually kind of helps on a little bit of tips and tricks. A fun fact that if you take flint and steel and you light a creeper with it, it'll light and it'll explode. And I hope this video kind of helps you on your journey. There will be more videos, future videos, possibly videos where I'll actually teach you something and probably actually teach you the best way of survival. I mean, I know some of the videos were pretty useful. Like the first one I did, that looked pretty useful. So, hopefully this is pretty useful. I mean, it was just tips and a little bit of tricks on here, but yeah, and different biomes. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.